How to be a better parent for virtual learning. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to talk about the three main strategies that you can use during this virtual learning time. And then stay tuned till the end, because at the end, I want to tell you the number one thing to not do and why you should avoid it at all costs. Okay, so first let's dig in. I'm very proud because I have just about made it through the first week of virtual learning with all 5 of my children. So if you don't know everything about me, or at least this piece, I have 5 school-age children who are 17, 16, 15, 13, and 9. So I have a senior, a junior, a sophomore, an 8th grader, and a 4th grader. So virtual learning is a major undertaking for me. So I'm going to give you these tips based upon neuroscience and based upon what I do to A, stay sane, but secondly, we have a really awesome home environment. We have since COVID-19 started. We still do, even though we made it through the first week of school. So here are some strategies. Number 1, set up a routine that works for you and your troops. Now that routine might be different than your neighbors, and it might be different than your best friends or your sisters. That is okay. Make sure it works for you, not other people. And I know some people have always thought I'm nuts because of the routine that I follow, opposed to theirs, and it works for me. I'm happy and my children are happy. And neuroscience shows that when we keep a relaxed environment, we will keep our brains out of that anxious and overwhelmed mode of high beta. We are trying to avoid high beta at all costs during virtual learning and during quarantine. And to be successful at that, kids like to anticipate, or their brains, and your brain too, likes to anticipate a routine. So they know what they're supposed to be doing at a given time, and then they know when they have downtime. And that routine can really ground you in this time. So back before quarantine, my precious children had to be up at 6 a.m. Even my littlest one, she would have to be up at 6 to get the bus at 7. And thankfully, now her first Zoom is at 9. So I have been waking her up at 8:15. It gets her 45 minutes to eat, get herself freshened up, and get at her desk. It's been working beautifully. That also gives me more downtime in the morning, so I don't have to hit the ground running. I can ease into my day, as everybody knows I love to do. Then from there, during her home schooling or her virtual learning, and all of my kids, they know when they're on Zoom, they know when they're off. I check in with them because that has been changing, but it seems like we're going to settle into a schedule next week. I check in with them to find out when they're on Zoom and when they are not. I had to lovingly remind them of the boundary that there's no gaming and there's limited talking to friends during the school day. But that being said, tip number 2 is make sure that you have and they have time when their brain is on. So that would be during their Zoom calls or when they have to do their work at home. But they also need time when their brain is off during the day. And my sweetheart Seamus, no joke, true story. First day of homeschool, he gets on his 8 a.m. Zoom. He's off. I texted everybody, good morning, children. Let's rock out this school year. He texts, I'm already done. I'm playing Minecraft. It was literally 8:12. So I texted back out to the group chat. This is the perfect opportunity for me to remind you of the rules. But there's no blowing through your Zooms to get to Minecraft. That was day 1. So what's been happening with him, which is super cute, and I will make a point about it in a second, is that what he's been doing now is he will text me, it's time for math, which means he just got off a Zoom and he has math work to do and he wants me to come help him, which is really cool. Now, going back to the routine thing for a second, I have changed my work schedule so I am available to help them in the day. And I know that everybody might not be able to do that. And I work for myself, and which is very challenging in most regards, but the one luxury is that right now I can change my schedule to be available to my kids to help them be successful in school. That doesn't mean I'm doing Seamus's math with him or for him, for sure. But what it does mean is he needed help and they were graphing questions. So I said, go get some graph paper and you can graph it and I'll graph it and we'll see what answers we get. He tells me, check this out, I'm gonna graph it in my mind. I'm like, no, you're not, my friend. Which I try never to yell at the kids, and I didn't yell, but I told him, you need to go get graph paper because you will be working out math problems for the rest of the school year. You will not be computing them in your mind. So he toddled off and he got the graph paper and he came back and he graphed it and we got the answers and he put it in. He got the answers and I verified them. So you need to have your children struggle a little or at least do the work and be able to put the effort and engagement in. So we've got routine is the first tip. The second tip is time for your brain to be on and time for your brain to be off. When their brains are on, it's engagement. You want them to be engaged in the learning process. Now, I've created a webinar that you can catch on my YouTube channel on COVID-19 and the impact that it's had on education. What you'll see in that PowerPoint, it's a PowerPoint slide of me describing it. What you will see in that PowerPoint is that all the studies are projecting a decline in educational achievement for children. And that decline is even bigger as kids get younger, which makes sense because developmentally, they're not getting all the education and socialization that they would, and that's what the American Academy of Pediatrics has been worried about with COVID-19. That's why they want kids to go back to school, because they don't want that achievement gap to get any larger than it needs to. But the reason that I'm telling you that is your child's achievement is going to go down because of COVID-19. It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. It's not their fault. It is the fault of this absolutely preposterous time in COVID-19 and all of the going with the flow that we have to do. So based upon the way that schooling has been running, your child's achievement is going to go down. That is okay. Don't stress. Keep them engaged in learning. That is more important than anything. It always has been. And I know people look at achievement, but engagement and the love of learning and getting on those Zooms and interacting and doing the push-ups that they have to do for PE, engaging in it. You want your child engaged, and then you want to give them downtime to disengage. Downtime in my home looks like coming out to socialize with each other, at least at lunchtime. So all my high schoolers have lunchtime at the same time, and it's about the same time for the younger kids too. We have thus far made lunch, hung out, and everybody eats. And so it is socialization time. And of course, in my family, we're lucky to have so many people. But you want a positive routine, your routine, not somebody else's. Get one that works for you. And I can give you more tips on that in another video, how to build that routine. Then get engagement, but also have brain breaks. Okay, so then the third tip is at the end of the day, have your child earn the privileges that they desire. So when it comes to neuroplasticity and keeping our brains in that optimal mode of calm focus and avoiding overwhelm and stress, we know that our brains like to work for rewards. And honestly, that's how neurofeedback brain training works too. But, so like I told you, Seamus was on Minecraft at 8:12. He's not allowed to do that during the school day. But if he works hard on his school day, especially when it's challenging for kids in this time to be able to do a new thing, he can earn the reward of Minecraft. And he has been thrilled to be able to do so. And my daughter loves to FaceTime all of her friends. She FaceTime kids for a long time yesterday after school. It's a major reward for her. And she told me she got 100 on her biology quiz. She worked hard on this, that, and the other thing. Then she gets downtime with the privilege that she earns. So you earn the privileges, and then of course there's consequences. So if they don't make their way through the school time routine, then the consequences, there's no doing that thing that you love. And even if they don't do more school, that's not the point. The point is you have to engage thoroughly in the school day, and then you earn your privilege, not mosey your way through the school day, and you still get the privilege. But of course you have to be able to deliver that. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Remember, rewards, engagement, routine, super important. Now here's the number one thing that you want to avoid to be a better parent during virtual learning time. It's not rocket science, but here it comes. You have to avoid anxiety for yourself and your children. And the easiest way to do it is by doing those three things that I told you. So it's not rocket science. If you build a routine, but for the routine, you have to build in downtime for yourself. And I know I maxed out the other day because it was one of our first days of this new routine. So I did school with the kids all day. I made lunch. I got them engaged, socialization, and then I had to work for a couple hours. Then I had to make dinner. Then I had curriculum night for school. At the end of the night, I literally could barely see because I didn't build in downtime. So now I have to build in downtime for myself so I can be the best version of myself. Now it's for me, but it's also for my home and my children and my husband and honestly like the surrounding community, because if I can keep my brain calm and focused, everybody's brain in the house will attune to mine. And I'm acutely aware of that, so I very rarely get stressed out. Because if I get stressed out, within 5 minutes, everybody else is stressed out too, which means I'm more stressed out and it becomes a major negative feedback loop. So knowing that I'm the captain of the ship, I keep my brain where I need to. And I do it sometimes at all costs. So build in time in that routine. Go for a walk. I went for the most beautiful walk yesterday, and it's amazing what it does to my brain. I work out every day. I said to my hubs this morning, and I think he was a little surprised, I said, would you make breakfast for everybody so I can go work out early? And honestly, I needed to because yesterday was one of those really long days for me. I couldn't go right back into it. And he's like, sure. Awesome. See you in a bit. So I was able to get my workout in. When you move your body, it produces all of those positive neurotransmitters in your brain, and it will literally make you feel better. You will be able to stay calm and focused. You'll be able to help everybody else be able to do that too. So keep your anxiety down. Do something you love. Do a self-care every day. Self-care can be a walk. Self-care can be doing your nails or going to have your nails done. Self-care could be a bath. Last night I took a bath, and I was trying to take a bath alone until there was a knock. Oh, this is your husband. Can I come in? Seriously, this is my only 5 minutes of the day. The answer is no. Self-care, time to myself. I put on Pachelbel's Canon in D, bring the system down, lavender and Epsom salts, soaking my muscles after a long day. Self-care. Do as much as you can so you can be fresh for virtual learning, for yourself, so you can be on purpose in your work and your life, and so you can have that positive juju, which is real electrical energy from your brain, radiate out from you to keep your home calm and focused too. Okay, go rock it out. We've got this school year. We've got it, and we will do it together. And remember, control your brain or it'll control you.